Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well this week. We're going to talk briefly about habits. I'm trying to keep these as brief as possible. I'm challenging myself to keep it under 5 minutes this week, so we will see how I do. Because I think this is important content, but I know also viewership drops off pretty steeply after a few minutes. So let's jump right in. If my screen will advance, maybe. There we go. Habits matter more than we might think. So we're going to talk about habits today. Credit to James Clear for some of this. He wrote Atomic Habits, a really, really interesting book. Highly recommend looking at that. But habits matter more than we might think in our day-to-day life. So between 30 and 40% of our behaviors or actions on a given day are habits. Just things we do sort of almost on autopilot. So much of who we are is a collection of our habits. So this can either be a good thing because you've cultivated some great habits, or a bad thing because you've cultivated some bad ones. But the good news about this is we can use this information for good, right? So if a lot of our life is sort of on autopilot, we can decide what we put on autopilot. So we can do this in a couple of ways. Number one, we can add a good habit. So in his work, Clear talks about the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. So the cue makes it obvious. You want to make the habit obvious. You want the craving talks about making it attractive. So you want it to be something that you want to do, that there's an attraction to this for you. You want to make it easy, and you want to make it satisfying. So some habits are complicated and will probably involve all of these steps. Some are actually less complicated, and you can pick one or two of these to really start forming that habit. So for me, because of some medication I'm on, because of I had breast cancer several years ago, it messes with my bone density. So I have to make sure that I take calcium. And I'm not great at remembering. But this is an important thing that I need to actually do. So I've started putting my calcium by my coffee maker in the morning. So when I go to make my coffee, I see my calcium. I'm like, oh yeah, calcium, and I take it. So this makes it easy for me, right? I didn't have to go through all of these steps necessarily because it's not that big of a deal. It's not a huge thing to add. But I did need to figure out a way to make it really easy for me to do, because it's just, and obvious, right? Because it's just something I don't think of. So that has made that a habit, which has been really useful. The other way we can use this is to break bad habits. So when we make something invisible, when we make it unattractive or difficult or unsatisfying, we can work to break that bad habit. And again, some are more complicated than others. Some need to work through all of these. But for me, so an example I had is I was spending way too much time on a certain social media platform a while ago. And so for me, I was like, okay, I need to not be on there so much. But it was a habit, right? So I would reach for my phone, I would just click the button and it would pop up. And it was almost, it was just very automatic. So what I did was I logged out of first, yeah, I guess I logged out first. I don't know. Anyway, I had my husband change my password. And I told him, like, if I ask you for the password, you have to give it to me. But it's going to make it way harder for me because I can't just click on it and get in. So I had him change the password with the agreement that he would give it to me if I asked for him. But just adding that layer of difficulty. So I would go to my phone and find myself clicking on it. And I was like, oh, that's right. I have to ask him for the password. Do I even want to? Is this actually that important to me to check whatever? And it turns out that it wasn't. But that added level of difficulty really helped me break that habit. And so then once I broke the habit, it didn't matter if I had easy access to it because it just wasn't a thing that I sort of automatically, reflexively did. So again, is there a habit that you could break just by making it more difficult, adding that difficulty step? So just a couple of things again to think about. What habit do you want to add or subtract from your life? I love this picture. I love the right brain, left brain. My guess is a lot of you lean left brain, but I think there are certainly ways we can add and subtract habits from both parts of our brain. if you want to learn more, jamesclear.com is actually super helpful. And I am at my 5 minutes now, so I am going to wrap up for you guys today. Next week is our last class, and I'm going to release some announcements on a separate video here in just a little bit. But don't stop now. You guys are almost there. You're doing awesome. Even when you don't feel like you are handling this. So please let me know if there's any way I can help. And we are totally seeing the light at the end of this semester tunnel. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.